What is going on, Savages? As you know, I've had this one rig, as you probably know. I've had this one rig that has been giving me some trouble. It started off where it's an H110 Pro BTC Plus motherboard, and it started off with, it's an 8 GPU rig, but it started off with 4 of those GPUs not mining. Now this rig has worked perfectly for many months, 10 months or whatever it is, 24/7. So whenever it started messing up, I mean, it was kind of a shock, but everything breaks at some point. But my point is that this is not like a broken rig that I'm trying to fix, for some, like it came to me this way. It had been working just fine. And so it's got the 13 PCIe slots, and after troubleshooting, I did a stream where I troubleshot. I think it was like 2.5 hours long, just trying different things. And come to find out, I did a little bit of offline troubleshooting, just me looking at it and trying to figure it out. And I discovered that basically half of which was a clue with the 4 of the 8 GPUs not working, but half of the PCIe slots aren't working. So there's a controller bad on the motherboard most likely. And so the white ones don't work and the black ones do. And that's the way I'm looking at it right now. I've got, as you can see, let me bring this up here real quick. It's currently up and mining right now. It's mining CCX, which is basically what it's been mining for many months. And 6 GPUs are working. You can see them right there. They are mining, hashing away on CCX. So in order to fix this, now I think that this motherboard is probably still under warranty, so I probably could go ahead and RMA it and all that stuff, and I probably will. I will, but I wanted to try one of these UBit PCIe extenders, I guess is what they're called. It's a 1 PCIe slot to 4 USB or PCIe data, strictly for, I mean, this is clearly just for mining, but it's like a data cable, so it can turn 1 PCI lane into 4 is the way I understand it. So if I have 6 working right now, then I should be able to put this in the rig and connect 3 to it, because I'll need to put this in a working PCIe slot. And that's pretty much what I want to try. I want to see if I can get this thing, all 8 GPUs back up and running. And that's what I'm going to be doing. So, I don't know. Let's get to it. Alright, so I am going to power down the rig. And I've got some stuff I have to do here, because I'm going to power it down. I've only got 6 GPUs in here right now, so I have to grab the other 2 GPUs and connect power and all the normal things that you have to do. So let me do that. I've got the risers and everything. I mean, whenever we were troubleshooting, man, we were going through risers. We were thinking it was risers. It was the little adapter that fits into the motherboard. We were thinking it was all kinds of stuff, and come to find out it was really difficult to troubleshoot, because I believe that one of the white PCIe slots, one of the ones I was using, actually did work, or at least it worked some of the time. So it added to the complexity of the troubleshooting, because it kind of ruled out the PCIe controller whenever it was working. At least it did for a moment. The way I discovered what was going on is I took one GPU that I felt was really high confidence that it was good, 1 riser, 1 USB cable, and 1 adapter, and I went one by one and tried each individual PCIe slot one at a time, and powered up the rig each time and let it get to the point to where I was seeing it either mine or at least recognize the GPU. And that's how I discovered that every time I plug it into a white one, except for this one over here, like the very first white one seemed to work sometimes, not all the time. So it got really confusing, but as I went down through the line, it was really obvious. I mean, really obvious. You know, if I put in a white one, it doesn't work. Put in a black one, it does work. So, so then I plugged everything back up. Well, I plugged 6 because that's all I could. There's only 6 black PCIe slots. So I connected 6 GPUs and got them all up and running, and they've been running for several days now that way until this part came in, and this little guy right here. So this is what we're going to try to do. Whoops. We're going to try to, hopefully that still works. We're going to try to do that instead of RMA the motherboard right away. I will probably still try to RMA it if it is under warranty. It should be. So I just got to check that out though. So let me connect up this stuff here, power and whatnot to the risers and the GPUs. You might be able to hear my kid. He's in there playing probably Fortnite. He's screaming. I already got onto him once, but you know, he's not listening. I'm just connecting the power and stuff to the GPUs and the risers. For some reason my chat window is down really far, so I'm not really paying attention to the chat just yet. Alright, so because we're going to hook this up with the extender, the 1x4 extender. I'm not going to use the little adapters on the, I know you guys can't really see this, but I'm just kind of talking as I'm going here. I'm not going to do any like wire management or anything like that just yet, because I don't know if it's going to work. So I got all the power. I'm going to be taking these extenders off, of course, because we don't need them. And then the only thing I'm really concerned about is this adapter here, or the extender, the 1x4 extender, doesn't, you know, it's not, the system isn't in a case, you know, so there's nothing that it can connect to. So it's just going to have to be sitting in there. I suppose it'll be all right. I'm probably going to use, let's use this last one here. I don't know if it's what's recommended to use, but I'll try this one. So all I'm going to do, actually I'll do it on the other side so y'all can see it. And I believe I've heard a rumor that you probably shouldn't try to put more than 3, I believe, in this, even though it's got 4 for mining. I think that there's a problem if you try to put more than that. Back this up a little bit. So I don't really see. Okay, so this is 1, that's 2, 3, and 4 is what it looks like. So I'm just going to start with 1. It probably doesn't matter, but I like, you know, uniformity and keeping things in order. So look like that. All right. Slide this back here. Be underneath that power cable there. Call Probably should have put it in the slot first. Okay, I'll get it. Alright. Remember, it's the black ones. That seem to work. Alright, so that is in there. And the GPU that was in that slot was working. So let's see what happens here. Just double checking my power up here. This one, these two GPUs on the riser side are actually using the SATA power, but like I said, it has been running for 10 months like this. So I think we're good there. All right, let's try power on. Probably gonna get a fan stop here. Sounds like anyway. Oh wow, no power, no fan stop, so that's good. And if you're not familiar, what I'm referring to is there's a problem with this particular rig. I don't know if it's just a compatibility between the GPUs and the motherboard or what, but sometimes whenever you first power it on, these ASRock Gigabyte ASRock cards have a fan stop light on them. And if that light is on, the fans will be going at like 100% RPMs, and the GPU won't be recognized by the system, by a miner or by the OS or anything like that. So sometimes I have to, it was really odd that this time none of them came on. That's actually a good sign, I guess. But I don't think that particular problem has anything to do with the problem that we had with 4 of the 8 not mining. So we'll just have to see. But this time it did not come up with any fan stops, so that's good. And I'm looking at the screen here, and it did say, if you look right here, it says found OpenCL. I don't know if you guys can see that. Maybe you can. Found OpenCL. There's 8 of them. Whoops. Now they're up here. No, there they are. Okay. So there's 8 found OpenCL GPU Ellesmere. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Boom. So we got all 8 at least recognized by the OS, Simple Mining. Let's come over here to the desktop and see what it says. We got 0 through 7 recognized. They're not mining yet. Wow, it looks like one of them is. That's kind of strange, but at least the clocks have been applied to that one. So it is, whenever you see the overclocks go to 1175 and 2175 for all of them instead of 300, 300, and of course the watts will go up to power. Once that happens, then you know that things are going well and it's mining and all that stuff. So you saw that whenever we first started it was 6 of 8. Now it is 8 of 8. So I think that we are back to 100%, but I'm going to let it go. You can see right here GPU 8 also, but I'm going to let it go and see if it actually starts mining at the normal. Yeah, I think this rig was getting about, it's mining CCX, Conceal.Network, and it was 13.7 kilohash, I think, something like that. 13.7, 13.5, somewhere around there. So I just want to see that come up, and then we're going to call it good. Let's see what's in the chat here. Gotta scroll down here for some reason. Nobody's even talking. What's going on? Thursday nights are usually pretty good for streaming. Only 2 folks in here. So this hasn't updated yet on the screen here, but it is setting up, it says device 1 work size 816, so you'll probably see that here in a moment. And that's a good sign. It should go through all 8, I believe, and then right after that, because this is XMR stack, so it takes quite a while to start up. And actually, this can be a little bit misleading, because if you look at your simple mining, if you are using simple mining and you're using a miner such as XMR stack that takes so long to come up, it's looking like it's not working, right? It looks like it's not talking to simple mining, right? Because you see how it's going from green to yellow, and then eventually it'll go to red. But you have to be patient with this particular miner, because it makes simple mining look like there's something wrong with the rig whenever there's not, because it just times out too fast as compared to the miner actually starting up on the rig. See, we're only at 4 of 8. I don't know if you can see that. It says device 1 through 3, or I'm sorry, yeah, 1, actually, it says device 2 twice. I don't know why it does that. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure that is going to be, yeah, it might be actually 3 for each. So it's doing the dual threading. I would assume that that's what that's talking about, and why you're seeing a device more than once. Now, I am a little bit concerned at this point, because I only see 1 of device 1, but that's okay. I'm going to let it go and just see if it clears it up. What's up, Dabbin Squirrel? What have you missed? Well, I've been troubleshooting a rig. I don't know if you've seen the previous live streams or not, but I've had this rig it lost basically 4 GPUs. They weren't working, and did a lot of troubleshooting. Some live streaming, some offline, and basically discovered that probably one of the PCIe controllers on the motherboard is bad, because every other PCIe slot works. So the white ones don't work, the black ones do work, and this is on a ASRock H110 Pro BTC Plus motherboard with the 13 PCIe slots. So through a lot of troubleshooting, it was discovered that that's the way it was. But what complicated the troubleshooting so much was at least one of the white slots did work at least some of the time. So it was, really hard to troubleshoot, because I would always start on that side whenever I was plugging in the GPUs. So we would get 4 working, and then I would add a 5th one, and it would not work. So I would take that 5th one out, and then I would get only 2. So it was really difficult to troubleshoot. The symptoms were all over the place. And like I was saying, guys, if you can see right here, it's going red, right? And if you don't have a monitor on the rig, or if you don't come over here and hit the little eye so that you can see what's going on, and even looking at this, you might think that it's actually offline, because it says right here that it is. But if I can see on the monitor that it is working, right? So you got to keep that in mind whenever you're using these miners that take a long time to start up. See, it's still going. So I'm just going to let it rock, and eventually I'll hear it fire up, and I should get some accepted shares and be mining and all that stuff, and be good to go. Yeah, it even says here, that it's down. Last seen 7 minutes ago, all that stuff. So don't get distracted by that whenever you're using XMR stack. I don't know if XMRig still takes a long time to start up, but XMR Stack definitely does. So what we did, Dabin, was we added, I don't know if you can kind of see it there, maybe from this angle a little bit better. Yeah, we added one of those UBit 1 to 4 extenders, right? So we can plug 4 into 1, basically, this guy right here. But the motherboard is probably still under warranty. It's not that old, and so I'm probably gonna RMA it. But just to get everything back up and running, that little PCIe extender 1 to 4 extender was like 25 bucks, I think. And this rig is mining CCX, and it has been for quite some time. And having it down like that, you know, even 2 GPUs, whenever it was so profitable the past week, it's kind of hard to swallow, right? And I think that you know, I'll make a, hopefully, I mean, it was going down a little bit today. It was pulling back a little bit, CCX was. But hopefully I'll make up that 25 bucks super fast, because this rig was making, or actually both rigs are making, you know, if you value it towards USD, I want to say it was $8 or $9 a day this past week. So maybe not the whole week, but the last 3 or 4 days of the week, because CCX was on a freaking rocket ship. So I'm just waiting on this thing to get done so that we can kind of see what's going on with it. It still doesn't have that dual threading for GPU 1. It is logged into the pool. I can show you this probably now. Yeah, see there, it went green, right? So see, all we did was we waited. I didn't power it down. I didn't start losing my mind, you know, being impatient or anything. I just let it go, because I know that it takes a while to fire up, because it's XMR Stack on simple mining. So if I come over here, it looks like there might be a problem with that first GPU, right? Because let's see what the total hash rate is here. It looks like there's some problems here. And it's probably associated with that first GPU. It's not giving me a hash rate yet, so. Yeah, there it goes. You can probably hear it firing up a little bit there. Yeah, what we noticed on this first boot was this GPU at the top already had the clock set when all the other ones didn't. So I was a little bit concerned right off the bat. And then whenever we're watching the rig boot up, that GPU 1 did not have 2 entries for you know, starting up. So I think what I'll do is probably just power it down and power it back on and see if that clears up. I mean, it is mining at 13.28. That's a little less than what I'm used to seeing, I think. Actually, no, that's probably about right. Yeah, I think that's right. So I ain't gonna touch it. I think that's good. So I don't know those memory allocation errors. I see those whenever I fire up the rig, but they usually clear up, like you can see right here. I mean, there's nothing in there now. Seems like it goes away right away, or it's just like an initial, you know, initialization problem. Not even a problem. It could just be information that is just being fed to the console here. But I think from now on, it's just going to look like this. You know, new block detected, share accepted, so on and so forth. So I think we are good to go. Yep, we've been going about 25 minutes. That's not bad. Got it all GPUs back up and running. I'm going to do a little bit of wire management cable management, and put this rig back where it belongs. So I appreciate you guys hanging out. Pretty quick little stream here. I don't know if Brandon Coin's going live or not. I think he's still waiting on fiber. So once he gets back, that'll be cool. We'll be able to watch him after me again, because we used to do that almost every night. So, all right, I will see you guys next time. I'll probably be live again tomorrow night, most likely around the same time, 9:30 or so. I've been wanting to do some CCX stuff. I've been wanting to do some Rio stuff. I don't know what I'll decide to do, but we'll see. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much for checking out the stream. Stay savage.